Hi, it's Emily Grace from Emily Grace Productions, and today we are talking about the top 3 ways thinking like an actor is stalling your career. So let's start with number 1. The first way that thinking like an actor might be stalling your career is what I like to call the spaghetti syndrome. Now, the spaghetti syndrome is a horrible disease, according to me, that many actors are suffering from. What is it, and how do you know if you have it? Well, the spaghetti syndrome is when you have a bunch of goals as an actor, like, oh, I want to be in commercials and I want to be in TV and maybe I'm going to try voiceover and maybe I'm going to take this Shakespeare intensive, and you kind of take the spaghetti, you throw it at the wall to see what sticks. And it's very difficult to create career momentum when your goals are kind of haphazard all over the place and they're not really leading in any direction. So if you've got multiple goals and they're kind of all over the place and you're not really taking action on any of them, then yes, you probably are suffering from spaghetti syndrome. If you feel like you're spinning around in a circle instead of moving forward on a specific path, that's pretty classic spaghetti syndrome. So that's number 1. Number 2, how thinking like an actor may be stalling your career is being short-sighted. Now, being short-sighted or being in the moment can really be helpful for you in your acting craft. When you're in a scene, of course, you want to be really present. You want to be really in the moment and not anticipating what's coming up next. Very helpful in performance or in auditions or rehearsal. Not very helpful when it comes to treating your career like a business. So if you're being short-sighted about your goals, if you're working really hard to land just one specific audition, or you're working really hard to just get this one job, and that's as far ahead as you are looking, sometimes it can start to feel like you are on a constant sprint. You're hurrying up, you're playing catch up, and then maybe you do accomplish this one specific goal, and then you get there and you go, well, this didn't turn my career around the way that I thought it would. And then you've got to set another short-sighted goal, and you're just always feeling like you're on this constant sprint, but you're not really getting anywhere. So being short-sighted is another symptom of how thinking like an actor may be stalling your career. And the third thing to talk about today, I'm sure there are many more, but for today we're just going to talk about 3. The third way thinking like an actor might be stalling your career is you get stuck in the obstacles. Now, don't worry if this is you. You are not alone. This is a very normal human characteristic that we all fall into at times. But as someone who's an actor myself and working with actors through my business, I see this happening a lot, where the actor can only see the obstacle. I don't have an agent. I don't have a reel. I don't have a website. I can't get in on this audition. I don't have enough credits. And you just go down the list of all the things that are standing in the way between you and your goal. And when all you can see are obstacles, you tend to put energy into the obstacles, and then you start finding more and more reasons why what you want becomes impossible. It's a really tough place to be in, and you can really get weighted down, and especially because you are an actor, you're probably sensitive, you're probably easily in touch with your emotions, and when you start going down this downward spiral, it can be really tough to pull yourself out of it. So, now that we've identified these 3 ways of how thinking like an actor may be stalling your career, I want to give you some solutions. So, let's talk about 3 ways thinking like a producer can help you act for a living. So, the first way that thinking like a producer can help you act for a living is greenlight a project. So, When you're a producer, whether you are literally producing your own content or some other kind of project, or whether you are figuratively producing results in your acting career, think about it this way. When you greenlight a project, that is where you're putting most of your focus. Of course, you can have several irons on the fire at one time, but when a project gets a green light, that means it's all systems go. You can get very focused, you can put a lot of your resources and time into that project until you see it through to completion. The second way that you can think like a producer, act for a living, is to think long term. Whereas many times as the actor, we see only the short-sighted goal. Oh, I just need to get this audition and everything's going to turn around. Oh, I just need to get an agent and everything's going to turn around. And then sometimes you get those things and you go, oh, crap. Things haven't changed the way I imagined they were going to. So thinking like a producer is about thinking long term. Now, if you have ever produced content in any level, whether it be a short film or a web series or just a 3-minute video, you know that it's a long-term project, right? The small actions that I take today are going to pay off down the road. Of course, we all want that instant gratification. If I take a workshop with this casting director, they're going to call me in right away. And if they don't call me in right away, then it means they don't like me and there's no opportunity there. If I don't get it instantly, it means it's a waste of my time. Not true. So don't get too crazy if you're not seeing immediate results. It doesn't mean you should give up. It probably means you just need to keep the ball rolling. So thinking long term. And the final piece to thinking like a producer so you can act for a living is to be solution oriented, right? Whereas when you're thinking like an actor, you've got those emotions coming up, you're vulnerable, all of that stuff is going on and can get you stuck in the obstacle. When you're thinking like a producer, you have to be solution oriented, especially if you're dealing with other people's money, right? Most producers, they're dealing with investors. Maybe you've raised funds to complete a specific project. When you're handling someone else's money, there is zero possibility you're going to go back to them and say, oh, well, it was just too hard, so we gave up. It's just not going to happen. So when you're on the hook that way, whether that be because you raised funds, because you have investors, maybe you're working with a coach or you have an accountability group, when you put yourself on the hook, you are much more likely to be solution oriented. And just like when you put all your energy into only looking at obstacles, you find more of them. When you only put your energy into looking for solutions, you will start to find them. So one of the best ways that you can help yourself start thinking like a producer is to really start looking to see where the solutions are. Now, this is just the beginning. There's so much more that I want to share with you on this specific topic, think like a producer, act for a living. So if you have not yet signed up for my free webinar, I invite you to do so now. There should be a form somewhere on this page. You just need your name and email, click submit, and you will automatically get emailed all the details of how you can join this live webinar. It's happening this Thursday, September 22nd. If you have already signed up, don't worry, you don't need to sign up again. Just check your email for a reminder with the call-in details, and I really look forward to sharing more on this topic with you this Thursday.